There is one kind of food a mother bear can never refuse: fresh fish. Every time the tide pulls back, the ocean transforms into a hidden restaurant. The salty shoreline reveals countless delicious creatures waiting beneath the sand. We arrived on the southern coast of Alaska and discovered an extraordinary place. Only one female bear was living here with her two small cubs. Together, they slowly moved toward the coast. The mother bear could not compete against the massive male bears for food, so she created a secret feeding ground of her own. Her cubs needed food every few hours. If the mother could not catch enough salmon, she would never build enough fat to protect her family through the brutal winter ahead. In the frozen snow, her cubs could easily starve. But before the larger bear groups arrived, she managed to find a small snack for her babies. As the tide retreated, the hidden secrets of the sea appeared. Tiny creatures were buried beneath the wet sand. Food seemed almost endless here, but gathering it required patience and skill. For the two cubs, this was the first time tasting solid food. They stared at everything with curiosity. It felt completely different from their mother's milk. Fortunately, the mother bear already knew exactly what to do. With powerful paws, she dug through the sand and uncovered plenty of food. The little cubs happily enjoyed their precious meal together. After finishing the main meal, the mother bear continued searching for hidden snacks beneath the shore. This time she found a tiny shy fish. It was nowhere near as large as a salmon, but it was still enough to satisfy their hunger for a while. The small surprise excited the cubs, and they proudly showed off their tiny hunting skills. One little cub simply waited quietly for its mother to return, and the cub that had been hungry for a long time finally received its reward as well. Searching for food across the dry coastal rocks was difficult work, and no animal truly wanted to struggle like this forever, but they had no other choice. At least for today, the family would be able to eat enough food to survive. Then, suddenly, everything began to change. The tide started rising once again. Soon the coastline would disappear beneath the water. But at the same time, something even more important arrived: the salmon migration. This was the moment bears wait for all summer long. The sea became completely filled with fish. Their massive numbers made them much easier to catch. Every predator along the coast became excited. Because salmon need several days to adjust from ocean water to freshwater rivers, they do not immediately swim upstream. That gave the bears precious time to hunt along the shoreline. Finally, the mother bear and her cubs no longer needed to flip over rocks searching for tiny snacks. But for the safety of her babies, she still avoided the dangerous gathering areas filled with larger bears. The mother bear arrived at a shallow river mouth. Salmon filled the water here as well. She carefully left her cubs waiting near the shore. She had no other option. Before the other bears discovered this place, this was her best opportunity to hunt. One after another, she began catching salmon. Meanwhile, the two cubs waited patiently along the shore, hoping for their mother's return. But while the mother bear hunted in the water, a wolf slowly approached from the distance. Its eyes were locked on the two tiny cubs. They were still only a few months old. The frightened cubs tried to protect themselves. At the same time, they desperately called for their mother. Fear surrounded them completely. Fortunately, the mother bear returned just in time. Now her cubs were safe again. No matter the danger, she would never abandon them. But surprisingly, the wolf had not come to attack. Instead, it discovered that the shoreline offered far more fish than expected. For the mother bear, however, the best hunting opportunity had already disappeared. Large male bears now dominated the shoreline, feeding as much as possible from the salmon migration. Fighting them would be far too dangerous, so the mother bear would need to wait a little longer. Once the salmon fully moved upstream, she could finally return to the quiet territory she knew so well, the hidden rivers and peaceful ponds known only to her.